What's going on, everyone? So, David Jones Garcia has made the All NBA Summer League team, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy was third in scoring overall. He was fantastic. He was, the best player on the Spurs Summer League, one of the best players in all of Summer League, really stood out, and is likely going to get a contract with the Spurs. I would be shocked if the Spurs don't sign him. If they don't, somebody else will. And I think he has the talent to be a very good basketball player. 6'6", got the versatility, slot in 2 through, 4 even on some occasions. If you're going small ball, shoot the 3 ball, self-create, play in the mid-range, right? You see him, kind of look at him in like a DeMar DeRozan type of role, where he's just kind of that bucket getter for you, but he showed the ability to do other things too. Rebound the basketball, make plays for others. He's kind of more of that bucket getter. He's not a guy I'd want running my offense, but he's a guy that, yes, he can make, be the extender, make some occasional plays, but you kind of want to let him be that bucket getter. Here's the ball. Go get a bucket, right? And I do think he can do that as soon as this season for the Spurs. Right now, I kind of look at him in like that Lou Williams role off the bench, like just, your sixth man, go out there and can you give us 15 a night, right? That kind of thing. But question is, where does he fit with the Spurs, right? Because it's one thing to bring him in. You have to bring him in. You bring him in. But where does he play? Seriously, because look, you got De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. They're going to probably play. De'Aaron Fox is going to be your point guard, but Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle are probably going to operate in that point and 2 guard spot for a team like the Spurs. Again, you don't really want David Jones Garcia to be slotted in as your point. He's not going to be your point guard. He's not going to be able to make a play, but could you maybe on occasion play the 2? Sure. But you also have a couple other guys. You look at the 3, it's okay, what about the 3 spot? Well, it's okay, you got Carter Bryant, right? You got Harrison Barnes, right? You got Julian Champagne. You got other guys. So I'm not could he outplay and outperform some of these guys? Sure. But you also want to kind of develop some of your young guys, right? You want to, and that's not counting Devin Vassell, it's not counting Keldon Johnson, right? Which you could argue maybe Garcia would kind of be the replacement for those guys, kind of make it more digestible to trade those 2 guys, right? But those guys are also proven on an NBA level. It's one thing to do it in Summer League. It's another thing to do it on an actual NBA scale and going up against better defenses, competition, right? So again, those are things to keep in mind. However, the Summer League is kind of the Wild West, right? It's not really organized, not really structured, right? As far as production on the court. Everyone's trying to stumble over each other to prove that they belong on a roster. It's a mess. Where actual NBA, it's more structured. He's going to be in actual offensive actions and defense, and right, it's going to be more organized for him to be able to, the floor spacing, all of that is very different compared to, say, a Summer League. So I do think he will be able to translate and have success, but it is a question, right? The Spurs have a lot of guys that can self-create and put the ball, again, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, right? Julian Champagne, he's more catch and shoot, but get the point. Guys that can shoot the basketball, guys that can play the basketball, guys that can slot in 2 through 4 for you, right? So him coming in, is he going to be able to outplay and outperform some of those guys? And is he going to get the opportunity in order to display that, right? Are you playing him over Devin Vassell? Probably not. Are you playing him over Keldon Johnson? Probably not, right? Maybe they kind of split minutes, sure, but again, you're probably going to lean to Keldon Johnson because he's the guy. Also, if you're going to trade him, you want to kind of showcase him, right? Before you trade him, kind of raise some of that value and go, oh, hey, here you go, right? So to me, I think if they're going to bring him in, I would look to a potential trade that kind of consolidates some guys, because now you have a guy that can maybe come in and kind of fill that role. He's 23 years old, right? So he's still young enough to where he has upside, he has potential. The problem is you'd be kind of taking a gamble and a risk on that, because you want to see him first, right? You want to see him do it, but you also want enough of a sample size, right? He could come in, let's say the very first game for the Spurs, play 25 minutes and give you, maybe he goes off for 35, 6 and 6. And we're all this is it. We got a superstar, right? All of that. And then the rest of the season, he never replicates that. He's an 8-3-3 guy the rest of the way. You see stuff like that happen all the time. That's why you want a sample size. That's why I usually hey, this guy's doing this in a 15-game span, but it's a small sample size, right? Because we've seen guys have great runs, great years, great moments, right? great playoff runs. I mean, Chandler Parsons got a max contract, and he still jokes about it to this day because he just had this one great run in the playoffs, right? And they paid him out. You got guys like Michael Carter-Williams, who people thought was going to be the next great superstar point guard, averaged nearly a triple-double his rookie season, and was out of the league before his next contract, right? Like, again, you see things all Tyreek Evans, right? There's plenty of guys that have had really good plays, really good runs, really good seasons, and again, you're talking about you're taking what a guy did in summer league and assuming that he can do that during an actual NBA season off the bench or in a start or whatever, right? And then you also need to get him minutes to show that he is capable of doing that. It's tough when you look at this roster, right? They're kind of flushed with those kind of 6'5", 6'6" guys. It's kind of like the last thing they need is another one of those guys. But he was so good that you almost have no choice. You have to bring him. You don't want to lose him, and then he ends up killing it on some other team, and it's like, dude, what are the Spurs doing? You already got that. Like you had him. He was in your pocket, and you let him go. Right? Like they have to at this point. So how do they kind of manage that? I think is going to be very kind of telling. Right? Like is he kind of just right in the bench to kind of start the season, and they're kind of showcasing some of the guys that maybe they trade, they move? Is a Spurs trade on the horizon? Is that around the corner? Right? Is that something that, a week from now we get a notification that's like, Spurs have traded Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell for whatever, right? Also, there's the argument, again, of like, do you trade those guys right now while you're trying to develop guys? Because you still want to try to win some games. But the best way for development is to kind of just let the young guys go. Right, but you have De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama who want to win and stuff. So like Spurs are in this like very weird spot, right? Because it's like they want to win games. You want to get into the play and get into the playoffs. They look like they're going to be good enough to do that. But you also want to develop your young guys. Right? You don't want Dylan Harper playing 15 minutes a night. Right? You want him to be able to play, 25 to 30 minutes and really get that experience and have his bad games and have his good games, kind of have that roller coaster of a season, right? But it's like, okay, if he's killing you, like, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just sit him for 15 minutes? Right? Like Devin Vassell, again, like you're probably going to want to play Devin Vassell quite a bit because he is good and he is a guy to get you buckets, do all that stuff. But you want to see, like, what does, Carter Bryant look like? Right? What does, can Julian Champagnie kind of continue to grow? What does, David Jones Garcia, what is he able to provide and bring to this team? Right? Like, it's just, you got to find, and then Keldon Johnson also. So it's tough. It's tough to kind of properly balance that. And we'll see how the Spurs do it. Look, Spurs, they know what they're doing. I'm not worried about it, but it's just, again, it's questions. Like, people are like, and myself included, are like, you got to go sign David Jones Garcia. Bring him in. Like, why isn't he already signed type thing, right? But the reality is, too, the other side that's not really talked about is where does he actually fit? How does he actually play? How many minutes, how much opportunity, how much role does he actually get? I think that that's very important to discuss as well. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.